Good morning, guys. My name is Catherine, and I'm going to present you about my analysis, motivation in learning in St. John's Catholic School, BSD for grade 10 social students of 2019 until 2020. Motivation is an essential factor in a student's learning process. The success of the student's studying process depends on their motivation, as it leads them to reach their goals. Therefore, motivation is the key to open their future success. Motivation also has function to activate and increase the activity as an effort to reach the goals. There are two types of motivation that can help students get their best result as the correlation with the student's learning process: intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes within the student's self that can push them during learning activity, while extrinsic motivation comes from the condition outside the students itself that can also push them in learning activity. The problem's formulation are: first, is there any correlation between motivation and the success of the students? Second, how the students find ways to have good motivation? If students are less motivated in the middle of learning process, how can they overcome it? The research goal are: first, to find the correlation between students' motivation and their success in studying or even for their future. Second, to find out the reasons why the students have less or no motivation in learning process. Third, to find out some advices or tips and tricks to maintain the students' motivation. The research benefits are: first, to add more knowledge, especially for the writer and generally for the readers. Second, to share and implement the advices or tips and tricks to maintain the motivation, especially for the writer and generally for the readers. Now I'm going to explain about my chapter 2. The first, we have background problem. Second, underlying theories. Third, thinking framework. Fourth, hypothesis. Based on the research result of other researchers, there is correlation between the students' motivation and their success in school life and their future. The motivation can influence students to reach their best in their studies and their future. The underlying theories. Definition of motivation. Motivation is the word derived from the word motive, which means needs, desires, wants, or drives within the individuals. It is the process of stimulating people to take actions to accomplish the goals. Therefore, motivation means the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. The definition of learning process comes from two words. First, learning, and process. Learning means the cognitive process of acquiring skill or knowledge, and process means a series of action or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. So, learning process means a process that people pass through to acquire new knowledge and skills and ultimately influence their attitudes, decisions, and actions. Summary and thinking framework. This research is based on the following thinking framework. Motivation is not only influenced by internal factors from within oneself, but also external factors, like parents, peers, and environments and surroundings. Motivation in learning must be maintained within oneself in order to reach better achievements. From my hypothesis, first, alternative hypothesis. There is a significant correlation between students' motivation and their success in studies. From the second hypothesis, which is zero hypothesis, there is no significant correlation between students' motivation and their success in studies. Now I'm going to explain to you guys about my chapter 3. In chapter 3, we have research location, second, research object, third, research method, fourth, data collecting method, and the fifth, data processing and analyzing technique. From research location, after considering some matters, I defined the research location to be at St. John's Catholic School, South Tangerang, BSD. From research object, population is all objects of the research. The population in this research were 10th graders of St. John's Catholic School, South Tangerang, as many as 89 persons. Samples are parts of a population with the same characteristic. To represent the population, samples in this research were some of 10 graded social and science stream from 10 Mary, 10 Peter, 10 Thomas, 10 John, with stratified sampling as many as 40 students. From the research method, the method or approach applied in this research was the test method. This involves giving out questionnaires to be the samples to be given to each class. This method was expected to be able to find out about what influences students' motivation learning at school, whether they agree or disagree with the given statement. From social media, peer group, family can have the big influence towards students' motivation learning. To collect the data, the research type below were used. I used library research, a research held by collecting, reading, and analyzing that are related to this research. Second is field research, a research to collect data directly from the field by visiting the population spot. To collect the data on the field, researchers should use this following data collecting technique: library research, observation, interview, documentation, and questionnaire. Questionnaires were given to the samples to find out the influences of students' motivation learning at school. Data processing and analyzing technique. First, data processing technique. To collect the data in this research, the researcher took the following actions. A. Editing. Make sure all questionnaires one by one are complete and no mistakes are made. B. Scoring. Giving score on each data of the questionnaire which are strongly agree, strongly disagree, and disagree. C. Tabulating. Tabulating the data in form of table so we can find the percentage of each questions or use tally. Second is data analyzing technique. For the data analysis, the researchers translate the data to percentage. First, the researcher should find the data of each number using tally. After the researcher done with the tally, the researcher should find the percentage for the answer for the questions. Scoring, the researcher will give a table which consists of choices such as strongly agree, strongly disagree, and agree. The person who answers the questions of scoring, they will put a tick for the answers. After the researcher got all the answers, the researcher should make tally to find the percentage for answers of each numbers. Now I'm going to present my research result for chapter 4. Part A, number 1. Gender. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 20 respondents are female and 20 respondents are male. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 35 respondents are 15 years old, as many as 5 respondents are 14 years old. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 32 respondents are single, as many as 8 respondents are in a relationship. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 16 respondents are 6 until 10 years in St. John's. As many as 15 respondents are 1 until 5 years in St. John. As many as 9 respondents are less than 1 year in St. John. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 20 respondents are majoring in science. As many as 20 respondents are majoring in social. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 23 respondents define motivation as a willingness. As many as 9 respondents define motivation as a support. As many as 1 respondent define motivation as a principle. As many as 7 respondents are invalid. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 36 respondents say that motivation is important in order to be better. As many as 3 respondents say that motivation is important to survive. As many as 1 respondent is invalid. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 1 respondent say that the effect of motivation learning is lazy. As many as 1 respondent says that the effect of motivation learning will decrease performance. As many as 3 respondents are invalid. As many as 35 respondents say that the effect of motivation learning is to be better. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 39 respondents experience low motivation in learning. As many as one respondent has never experienced a low motivation learning. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 24 respondents experiencing low motivation learning recently, as many as 9 respondents experiencing low motivation learning in junior high, as many as 7 respondents experiencing low motivation learning in primary. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 28 respondents are invalid, as many as 4 respondents use music to keep their motivation, as many as 8 respondents use positive thinking to keep their motivation. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 13 respondents are influenced by family to have strong or low motivation. As many as 17 respondents are influenced by peer group to have strong or low motivation. As many as 10 respondents are influenced by social media to have strong or low motivation. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 31 respondents have the cause of low motivation within themselves. As many as 9 respondents have the cause of having low motivation by their surroundings. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 20 respondents are caused by individuals of not motivated. As many as 13 respondents are caused by environment of not motivated. As many as 7 respondents are caused by enthusiasm of a teacher of not motivated. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 19 respondents answer more understandable teaching to make students more motivated. As many as 5 respondents answer to set a goal to make students more motivated. As many as 5 respondents answer other to make students more motivated. As many as 11 respondents are answer an exciting event to make students more motivated. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 20 respondents answer never give up to increase motivation in learning. As many as 9 respondents answer wholly to increase motivation in learning. As many as 8 respondents answer to set a goal to increase motivation in learning. As many as 3 respondents are invalid. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 27 respondents agree for all tasks are given clearly by the teachers. As many as 9 respondents disagree for all tasks are given clearly by the teachers. As many as 4 respondents strongly agree for all tasks are given clearly by the teachers. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 29 respondents agree to the explanation are shown clearly by the teachers. As many as 4 respondents strongly agree to the explanations are shown clearly by the teachers. As many as 6 respondents disagree to the explanations are shown clearly by the teachers. As many as 1 respondent strongly disagree. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 26 respondents agree the lessons are well organized. As many as 4 respondents strongly agree the lessons are well organized. As many as 1 respondent strongly disagrees the lessons are well organized. As many as 9 respondents disagree the lessons are well organized. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 24 respondents agree the teachers enthusiast in teaching. As many as 8 respondents disagree the teachers enthusiast in teaching. As many as 7 respondents strongly agree the teachers enthusiast in teaching. As many as 1 respondent strongly disagrees the teachers enthusiast in teaching. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 24 respondents agree that teachers give challenging tasks. As many as 12 respondents strongly agree that teachers give challenging tasks. As many as 3 respondents disagree that teachers give challenging tasks. As many as 1 respondent strongly disagrees that teachers give challenging tasks. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 24 respondents agree that teachers' willingness help students who haven't grasped the explanation. As many as 12 respondents strongly agree that teachers' willingness help students who haven't grasped the explanation. As many as 3 respondents disagree that teachers' willingness help to students who haven't grasped the explanation. As many as one respondent strongly disagrees that teachers' willingness help students who haven't grasped the explanation. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 25 respondents agree that teachers allow students search information individually. As many as 8 respondents strongly agree that teachers allow students to search information individually. As many as 3 respondents strongly disagree that teachers allow students search information individually. As many as 4 respondents disagree that teachers allow students search information individually. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 21 respondents agree that teachers allow students to set their goal. As many as 11 respondents disagree that teachers allow students to set their goal. As many as 5 respondents strongly agree that teachers allow students to set their goal. As many as 3 respondents strongly disagree that teachers allow students to set their goal. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 25 respondents agree that teachers evaluate students' work and give feedbacks. As many as 8 respondents disagree that teachers evaluate students' work and give feedbacks. As many as 4 respondents strongly agree that teachers evaluate students' work and give feedbacks. As many as 3 respondents strongly disagree that teachers evaluate students' work and give feedbacks. From the diagram above, we can see that from 40 respondents, as many as 23 respondents agree that teachers use the feedbacks from students. As many as 8 respondents disagree that teachers use the feedbacks from students. As many as 6 respondents strongly disagree that teachers use the feedbacks from students. As many as 3 respondents strongly disagree that teachers use the feedbacks from students. Now I'm going to tell you and explain about my chapter 5, which consists of conclusion and recommendation. Grade 10 St. John's Catholic School, they haven't know how important is motivation, and they don't know what is the meaning of motivation in learning. Most students in grade 10, they're having a low motivation learning nowadays. Most students in St. John's, they're influenced by peer group. Most students in St. John's are causes of having motivation learning within themselves, like lazy. Most students are not motivated is because of their individual problems. Some of the students increase motivation learning by having a holiday, and also some of the students increase their motivation by just remembering a word never give up. My recommendation is most parents must manage and maintain their child's motivation so they can give effort and willingness to study at school. Teachers must give more attention to students and also use their students' feedbacks. To give more motivation, students, parents, and friends should give more support to the person.